In August 2023, DRDX, the largest decentralized derivatives exchange, migrated from Ethereum's StarkX Layer 2 to its own purpose-built blockchain built on the Cosmos SDK. Within 90 days, daily trading volume on DYDX's own chain exceeded $2 billion. Coinbase launched Base, an Ethereum Layer 2, in August 2023, and it grew to over $3 billion in TVL within months. ApeChain launched as a dedicated NFT and gaming blockchain. Arbitrum Orbit allows any developer to launch their own Layer 3 chain anchored to Arbitrum security. This proliferation of application-specific chains, sometimes called app chains, represents a fundamental shift in how blockchain infrastructure is being built. Rather than deploying applications on shared general-purpose blockchains, developers are increasingly deploying applications on custom-configured chains optimized for their specific use case. For institutional investors, this architectural shift changes the value accrual analysis for Layer 1 and Layer 2 tokens significantly. The blockchain stack is evolving from a two-layer model, Layer 1 settlement chain, Layer 2 execution network, to a multi-layer model with application-specific chains at Layer 3. Layer 3 chains, or app chains, are blockchain networks built specifically for a single application or narrow category of applications. They can be optimized for the specific transaction types, privacy requirements, fee structures, and governance models of their target application. Technically, Layer 3 chains typically settle to Layer 2 networks, which in turn settle to Ethereum Layer 1, creating a hierarchy of security guarantees. The critical institutional insight is that app chains extract value away from shared Layer 2 and Layer 1 fee revenue. When DRDX runs its own chain, trading fees go to DRDX token holders rather than to Ethereum or StarkX validators. This value migration has significant implications for how to model fee revenue and token economics at each layer of the stack. The app chain ecosystem has grown rapidly from concept to significant market presence. Coinbase Base reached $3 billion in TVL within 6 months of its August 2023 launch and processes over 5 million daily transactions, more than Ethereum mainnet. DRDX chain processes $2 billion in daily derivatives volume with sub-second finality. The Arbitrum Orbit ecosystem hosts over 50 active app chains as of Q1 2026, including Zai, a gaming-focused chain, and Treasure, an NFT and gaming ecosystem. ZK-Sync's ZK stack has enabled over 30 hyperchains. The total value locked across all Layer 3 and app chain networks exceeded $15 billion by Q1 2026. Ethereum captures economic value from all these app chains through blob fees paid for data availability. EIP 4844 created a direct economic link where app chain activity generates Ethereum fee revenue, partially offsetting the value extracted from shared Layer 2 ecosystems. The app chain architecture creates fundamentally different investment thesis dynamics for Ethereum Layer 1 versus Layer 2 tokens. Ethereum's value accrual is enhanced by app chain proliferation. More chains create more blob fee demand, and Ethereum's base layer becomes more valuable as a security and data availability layer for a larger ecosystem. However, individual Layer 2 tokens like ARB or OP face competition from the app chains that settle to them. If a developer builds a Layer 3 chain on Arbitrum, the L3 captures application layer fees while Arbitrum captures only data posting fees. The net effect on Layer 2 token economics depends on whether the volume growth from hosting many app chains outweighs the fee revenue captured at the application layer by those same chains. The app chain architecture introduces distinct risks for institutional investors in blockchain infrastructure assets. Fragmentation risk is primary. As applications migrate to their own chains, liquidity and user activity fragments across hundreds of chains. This creates a worse user experience. Users must bridge between chains, and may slow mainstream adoption compared to a unified execution environment. Security inheritance risk is the second concern. Layer 3 chains inherit security from Layer 2, which inherits from Layer 1. This security hierarchy is only as strong as its weakest link. A vulnerability in an Arbitrum Orbit app chain could potentially exploit the underlying Arbitrum security model. Third is governance and upgrade risk. Application-specific chains introduce new governance vectors. Each app chain can choose its own upgrade process, and a malicious or incompetent app chain upgrade could compromise user funds. Coinbase Base's rapid growth from $0 to $3 billion TVL in 6 months illustrates both the institutional opportunity and the strategic dynamics of app chain deployment. Base is built on the OP stack, the open-source framework developed by Optimism, and is a Layer 2 network that settles to Ethereum. Coinbase's decision to build an app chain rather than deploy on an existing L2 was driven by 3 factors: complete control over the fee structure and sequencer revenue, the ability to integrate Base natively with Coinbase's 100 million plus user base, and the freedom to customize the chain for specific Coinbase product use cases including identity and compliance. Base generated approximately $50 million in sequencer revenue in its first 6 months, revenue that flows to Coinbase rather than to Arbitrum or Optimism. The case demonstrates that major institutional and corporate players will choose app chains over shared infrastructure when the revenue capture and customization benefits are significant enough. Institutional investors evaluating exposure to the app chain ecosystem should apply a 4-step value chain analysis framework. Step 1 is layer identification. Map the specific assets or protocols in the portfolio to their position in the blockchain stack and identify their fee revenue sources. Step 2 is value accrual analysis. For each layer, determine whether app chain growth increases or dilutes the token's fee capture. Ethereum benefits. L2 token economics are more complex. Step 3 is app chain quality screening. Evaluate specific app chain investments on the basis of application layer revenue model, governance quality, and security architecture. Step 4 is bridge risk assessment. Any institutional portfolio with multi-chain exposure must evaluate the security architecture of the bridges connecting its holdings to avoid bridge exploit exposure. 3 app chain investment mistakes appear in institutional portfolios. First, assuming that all Layer 2 tokens benefit from app chain ecosystem growth, Base's $50 million in sequencer revenue went to Coinbase, not to Optimism OP token holders, despite Base being built on the OP stack. The fee capture depends on the specific app chain architecture. Second, treating multi-chain exposure as equivalent to diversification. Cross-chain bridge exploits have caused over $2 billion in losses since 2021. Multi-chain exposure concentrates bridge risk, not diversifies it. Third, evaluating app chain protocols without understanding their security model. An app chain that claims Ethereum security must use a proper roll-up architecture, not just a proof-of-authority sidechain with fraudulent Ethereum security claims. The app chain revolution is maturing rapidly and creating genuine institutional investment complexity. The blockchain stack is no longer 2 layers. It's a multi-layer hierarchy with different value accrual dynamics at each level. Ethereum benefits from app chain proliferation as the security and data availability anchor. Layer 2 economics are more nuanced. App chain protocols capture application layer fees. Mapping these dynamics is essential for accurate token economic valuation. The app chain revolution is reshaping how blockchain infrastructure value accrues, and institutional investors need to update their valuation frameworks to keep pace. Subscribe to Crypto Mechanics for institutional-grade crypto analysis delivered weekly.